Have you ever stopped to think about where your energy really comes from? I mean, forget the morning coffee or the energy drinks for a second. The true source is way more ancient. And guess what? It's hiding inside every single cell in your body. Today, we're diving deep into the incredible world of your mitochondria, your body's ancient power plants. So let's just start with this kind of mind-blowing idea. You are not just one thing. You're not a single organism. You're more like a walking, talking ecosystem, a community. Because inside almost every one of your trillions of cells are the descendants of ancient bacteria, and they hold the secret to your energy, your focus, and really your overall health. And this brings us to a really personal question, right? Why are so many of us just so tired all the time? And I'm not just talking about the I need more sleep kind of tired. I mean that deep cellular fatigue, that brain fog that just won't lift. Well, the answer, more often than you think, lies with those little ancient partners inside of us. It means your mitochondria are struggling. And that right there is what we can call the cellular energy crisis. It's happening inside billions of people as we speak. So understanding what's going wrong at this tiny microscopic level, well, that's the first and most important step to getting your energy back for good. Okay, so what exactly are these things? The easiest way to think about mitochondria is like they're these microscopic power plants inside your cells. Their job is to take the food you eat and the oxygen you breathe and turn them into a molecule called ATP. And ATP, that's the energy currency for all of life. It powers literally everything from your heart beating to you thinking a thought. No ATP, no life. It's that basic. And the scale here, it's almost impossible to wrap your head around. You have roughly 10 quadrillion of these tiny power plants inside you. That's a 10 with 15 zeros after it. It is this massive interconnected energy grid that is literally determining how you feel from one second to the next. And they're not spread out evenly. Your most energy-hungry cells are absolutely jam-packed with mitochondria. A single cell in your heart can have up to 5,000 of them. Your brain cells, your neurons, have about 2,000. This explains exactly why, when your mitochondria have problems, the first things you notice are fatigue, brain fog, or muscle weakness. It's a full-blown energy crisis in your most critical system. Okay, so how on earth did we end up with bacterial power plants living inside of us? I know, it sounds like something straight out of science fiction, but it's our reality. And this origin story isn't just some fun trivia. It's actually the key to understanding how to fix them. It all goes back to a deal, a kind of partnership made billions of years ago. So picture this, about 2 billion years ago, a very simple early cells swallowed a bacterium. But instead of digesting it, they struck a deal. The bacterium was amazing at producing energy, so it gave energy to the cell, and in return, the cell gave the bacterium protection and nutrients. Over millions of years of evolution, that bacterium became what we now call the mitochondrion. It's wild, right? You are a living, breathing fusion of two ancient forms of life. And the proof for this is still inside you, right now. Mitochondria have their own unique DNA, completely separate from the DNA in your cell's nucleus. They copy themselves on their own, just like bacteria do, and they're passed down only from your mother. Now, here's the kicker. This is why this whole origin story matters so much. Because they still have this ancient bacterial programming, they respond to ancient signals, things like scarcity, physical challenges, and stress. And that's where the problem comes in. Our ancient biology, our ancient programming is getting all the wrong signals from our modern world. Our environment of constant food, constant comfort, and chronic stress, it's breaking down that ancient partnership. And this is when our power plants start to fail. The best way to picture this is like a campfire. Healthy mitochondria are like a clean, hot fire. They're super efficient, they produce tons of ATP energy with very little smoke. But dysfunctional mitochondria? Oh, that's a different story. They're like a sputtering, smoky fire. They produce way less energy, and they create a ton of damaging cellular smoke. We call this reactive oxygen species. And that damage is what we know as oxidative stress. So what's throwing water on our fire? Well, the culprits are probably going to sound pretty familiar from modern life. We're talking chronic stress, a diet full of processed foods, sitting around all day, environmental toxins, not getting enough sleep. All of these things are basically dampening your cellular fire, making it smoky and weak. But here is the really, really good news. You are the firekeeper. You actually hold the power to clear out all that smoke, to stoke the embers, and to reignite that clean burning fire inside you. So let's talk about the toolkit you need to do just that. The master key to all of this is a powerful biological idea called hormesis. It's basically that old saying, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, but on a cellular level. Brief, manageable stresses, followed by a period of recovery, are the signals your body uses to adopt and grow stronger. Your mitochondria don't want constant comfort. They actually crave these strategic challenges. And there's no better example of this than exercise. It is our number one most powerful tool. Here's the play-by-play of what's happening. When you exercise, you start using up your ATP energy. This flips on a kind of energy sensor in your cells called AMPK. That sensor then activates a master regulator, this thing called PGC1 alpha, which basically screams the order, we're under high demand, we need more power plants, stat. And in response, your body literally builds new, stronger, and more efficient mitochondria. How cool is that? And look, exercise isn't the only tool in your Firekeeper's toolkit. You've got other strategic stressors. Intermittent fasting, for example, acts like a cleanup crew, signaling your body to get rid of old, damaged mitochondria. Short bursts of cold or heat exposure can trigger very similar adaptive responses. And of course, all of this has to be built on that rock-solid foundation of a nutrient-dense diet and deep, restorative sleep. Those are non-negotiable. Okay, enough theory. Let's get practical. Let's put this into a plan you can actually use. This isn't some quick fix or a trendy biohack. This is a 90-day protocol designed to fundamentally rebuild your cellular energy right from the ground up. All right, here is the core of the protocol. It's built on 4 pillars you can't skip. First, you've got consistent aerobic exercise 3 to 4 times a week to build your overall mitochondrial density. Second, 1 or 2 short sessions of high-intensity interval training, or HIIT, to send a really powerful build more signal. Third, daily intermittent fasting, like a 16-8 window, to help clean out the old damaged units. And finally, 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep. That's when all the real repair and rebuilding actually happen. And to fuel all this rebuilding, your mitochondria need the right raw materials. Think of Q210 like the spark plug for the energy production line. Magnesium is absolutely essential for creating the final ATP molecule. B vitamins are like the vital helpers that keep the whole factory floor running smoothly. And omega-3s make sure the power plant's walls, the membranes, are healthy and strong. So, what can you expect if you actually do this? Well, if you stick with it, by day 30, you're going to feel a noticeable lift in your energy. By day 60, you'll feel a really fundamental shift. And by day 90, you're probably going to think to yourself, wow, I honestly didn't know I could feel this good. That feeling, that's your 10 quadrillion power plants all firing on all cylinders. So we end up right back where we started, with that ancient partnership living inside of you. Look, this isn't just about managing your health, it's bigger than that. You are the keeper of trillions of tiny sacred flames, an unbroken lineage passed down through your mother's line for thousands and thousands of years. So the only real question left is, how will you choose to tend your fire?